What's poppin', y'all? Lil Wayne's kids are the level of delusional that I think we hope all our children are when it comes to supporting our work. So the Carter 6 dropped recently. Classic series. People want to say Carter 3 was the last classic. I'm not in agreement there. Carter 2 for sure classic. Carter 3 for sure classic. I'm willing to venture as far as to say Carter 5 may also be a classic. I'm not going to get into that argument here, though. I already filmed and edited a video, or recorded and edited a video on my thoughts on Carter 6. That'll be down below. If you haven't seen that already, you can check that out. But with this, it's his kids, starting off with Reginae, and then we'll get into Lil Novi, who said some of the wildest things I've ever heard. And they're both defending him, but one is just, I wouldn't say he's capping, but he's far, far beyond delusional. So let's start off with Reginae, which is Lil Wayne's daughter. She's the one that was dating YFN Lucci. So we're going to roll that clip first.
Carter 6, you said Carter 6 is trash. That's fine. That's what you want to say. But let me tell you something about my father and Carter 6. This is what I hate about you kids. The fact that y'all can get on TikTok and do a fucking dance to it, that don't mean that it's trash, babe. Okay? The fact that you can't get on TikTok and do a little 1-2 little viral moment for it, that don't mean that it's trash, babe. My dad was talking real shit. It's stuff on that album that you can hear in 2K, in games, at malls, at all type of stuff. It's universal, my love. Y'all need to take y'all minds out of the TikTok world and get to the real bag. Whereas my dad is a lyricist, babe. My dad really talks. So if you can't understand it, please move silence like the GM lasagna and get the out of here. Thanks. Now that's my last song, because I already said that I'm not about to be cussing, because y'all already heard me cussing crazy, and y'all was like, wait a minute, I didn't know that they talk like that. So hold up. I'm just trying to tell y'all, don't be playing. I don't play about them parents. It's just like I got so good though, because like I really did calm down. Like y'all know I used to tweet everybody and be at everybody's back, like when they talk about my parents. But I'm like, I let it go, I let it whatever. But it's like sometimes you have to put yourself in our shoes. Yeah, we are in the industry, and yeah, people are gonna speak on you. People are gonna whatever you put out there. But it's like, we are still humans at the end of the day. We all bleed the same. If you cut, I'm gonna be black. It's gonna be red, both of us. So it's like, yes, I know the life that I have, and I know the life that I'm a part of, and I know that people are gonna hate. I know that people are gonna have their own opinions and all of that type of stuff. But you gotta also know that I'm human like you. So put yourself in my shoes, where you got 100 million people just talking crazy. You never even met them a day in your life, and then they talking crazy about your people. And you got a chance to speak on it, to directly speak on it, like not go on no internet about it, directly to the motherfucker. I'm gonna do that every time, but I'm not actually, because I'm actually gonna just pray about it and really.
See, we got to pick a couple of things apart. Now, Reginae has a point where a lot of people, they're just looking for some song, like a Travis Scott song, not something that they can necessarily dance to on TikTok. And Reginae, doesn't she fall under that generation where they grew up on TikTok? I don't even know what Reginae. Oh no, actually, Reginae is 26. No, she didn't really grow up on the TikTok age. Well, she did, like she was but she was already in her 20s. She wasn't like a young teen, preteen consuming TikTok. So she was probably more the YouTube era. So I get where she's coming from with this. But the thing is, you somewhat need that. Like Tootsie Slide, Drake made that specifically for TikTok. But how well is Tootsie Slide streaming now in comparison to all of Drake's other number ones? That seemed like it had its time. I don't know if people still play that song. I have not gone back to that song in a very long time. And I thought it was a good song, but it feels like it was for that specific moment, and it's not something you go back to. Like a God's Plan, for instance, man, we're going to be going back to that for forever. Even like what do you call it? In My Feelings, songs like that, but those are far different from what Drake dropped with Tootsie Slide. Now, as for Wayne, she's got a point in saying that, like, yo, there's music for everything. Wayne is talking his talk on this project. He is. The problem is the project just doesn't sound cohesive and good. Now, I will say it's overhated, and Reginae has been somebody that is always defending her pops. Like, she used to argue with people back and forth on Twitter whenever Wayne dropped a project, whether it was a tape, whether it was an album, whether he doesn't really drop singles like that. It could have been a verse. And that's another thing too. Like, Wayne is killing verses in the past several years, but putting together an album is just so much more of a difficult task. That's why when people try to say like, yo, Wayne is washed, not really. He's not washed if he's still killing verses. That means he's still got the skill up. He just needs to pair up with the right producer or executive producer to bring his, well, not his vision, to bring the executive producer's vision to life. I think that's the person that will have the vision for the album. Wayne is just like an ultimate nuclear weapon that you've got to launch in at the right time and the right place. Of course, not in real life. Lil Novi, though, who is Lil Wayne's son, he came out with one of the craziest takes. And Lil Novi also appeared, he's a rapper. He appeared on Wayne's project alongside Cameron Carter, who's Wayne's other son. I thought Wayne only had 2 kids. I didn't know he had a third. Cameron is the younger one, and Lil Novi was on the song Moolah Coming In. And I will say, like, this was a stimulus that was added. Granted, Cameron Carter's song with Wayne is outstreaming Lil Novi by several 100,000. So I don't know what we got going on there, Lil Novi. But let me play you guys that clip from him first.
Be honest, who's better, Lil Wayne or Drake?
Lil Wayne. My dad wrote most of his shit, so I mean, on God, like if it wasn't for my pops, then it wouldn't be no Drake. Like for real. I mean, it probably would be a Drake, but he wouldn't be where he at now.
All right, Lil Novi. I will say off rip, that Moolah Coming In song, Wayne carried like crazy, man. I don't really think Lil Novi really belonged on that song. It seems like he's still experimenting. He's still growing as a rapper. Now, did I like Cameron Carter or Novi better? I don't know. Just watch the video. I gave my thoughts on that there. However, Wayne writing for anybody is one of the craziest things I've ever heard. And this is coming from somebody that I wouldn't say I've accused Drake. I've correctly assessed Drake as using writers in the past. And I definitely rank Wayne higher than Drake overall. But if we're keeping it a buck, we heard that She Will reference track. That was heartbreaking. That day, I just sat, turned off the lights, and it was kind of like that SpongeBob meme where his like nose drops and it's really long. And I just stared. I just looked down. I was heartbroken that day. And that's the only thing that we saw. Granted, Wayne doesn't write, so how would he be writing for Drake? And we know what Wayne bars sound like. So there's no way that Wayne was writing anything for Drake, because then Wayne would be able to pen smash hits. Well, Wayne can't sing to the same extent that Drake can, but you guys get the idea. It's far more likely that Drake wrote for Wayne, because Drake has wrote for many other artists. Drake has written for Ye. I don't know if Drake has written for Travis, but a lot of people, Drake has written for Dre. Nothing really came out of that though. And Drake has written for, I think, Alicia Keys, pop stars, etc. So Drake is a writer. He's got a pen, despite the fact that he uses writers as well. So that would be the more likely scenario, although I don't think Drake wrote much for Wayne. When it comes to bars, hell nah. Now, but what I think Lil Novi was trying to get across is that, and he said it at the end, is that Drake wouldn't be here without Wayne, which is a fact. Like Wayne bringing him under the Young Money, Cash Money umbrella in a time, and this is just goes to show Wayne's open-mindedness in hip-hop. Like when Wayne first started skating, people were clowning it. Like yeah, Lupe Fiasco did Kick Push and all that, but Lupe Fiasco was never the number one rapper in the game. And people tried to come at him for that and say he was like lame and corny for the song Kick Push. But when Lil Wayne, who was the coolest rapper, like he's doing all that blood stuff, he starts wearing tight jeans and skateboarding, that breaks things on another level. Like Lil Wayne was the biggest rapper in the world at that point. And of course, like the rest of the world doesn't really care. But in the US, like people were looking at him like, yo, that's weird. Why is he doing that? And then when he goes rock and does Rebirth and starts playing the guitar and doing that type of music, people are like, yo, what are you doing? What is this? This guy's from New Orleans. He's a blood. He's with Birdman, the big blood. And now he went to the skateboarding thing. Now he's doing the rock thing. So also when he found Drake, it's similar. You got to think like this guy's singing. He's from Canada. He doesn't look like anybody that's popping or really successful in hip hop, but I'm going to bring him underneath me anyway. That he stuck his neck out to bring Drake underneath him because he saw the talent that Drake had. And I do think Drake has a deep appreciation for that. But I think that's more of what Lil Novi's trying to get at. But Lil Novi was like an infant when this was going on. And I'm not too sure if he like looked through the history of that relationship to really be able to come to this conclusion. But I think it's a good move. It's good. Saying stuff like this is good to get you attention as Lil Novi, because I've seen his music get attention as well. Now, they're not gassing it, but he's bubbling up. I would say he makes more of this kind of underground, hyper pop-ish, Lil Wayne inspired a little bit. You can feel some of that in Lil Novi's music. So he's somebody that's really grinding right now. But yeah, the whole Wayne writing for Drake, I don't believe Wayne wrote a single verse for Drake or a hook ever. I'd be shocked if that ever happened. Wayne just doesn't seem like the person to collaborate like that on a track. Like he'll work off of somebody, he'll drop some bars, but he's not gonna go like, yo, you should do this. It's just out of his personality. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And yeah, on the screen you'll be able to watch my Carter 6 thoughts on that album.